to a spot interview of Neverendingpanel.com with special guest author Harry Turtledove, often called the Grand Master of alternate history, credited for bringing alternate history into the mainstream. Harry Turtledove is a Hugo Award winner, two-time Sideways Award winner, Prometheus Award winner, and up for the Prometheus Award with not one but two books this year, which is, as far as I understand, a first in Prometheus history. And with me is my brother, fellow Duberhead and co-founder Eitan Collin, and of course Soundman Tim helping us out on this. And Mr. Turtledove,
Sure.
what are you working on? What's going on?
Well, I am just back to LA from a trip to Yellowstone National Park, which worked out very well because it was in conjunction with my guest of honor gig at MISCON over Memorial Day weekend. And I have a deal with NAL Rock to write a series of novels on what might happen if the supervolcano sitting under Yellowstone goes up again.
Something else to keep me up at night.
Hey, we don't have to worry about that. It goes up once every 600,000 years, and it went up
600,000
years ago. So, hey, what could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? So is that what you're working? So obviously you went there for research.
I went there for research. I hate travel, but I get to write off my taxes. It's just such a
so
drag.
terrible.
But how many times can you write a book which basically says we're screwed, we're screwed, we're screwed, we're screwed, we're
Well,
screwed?
you know, Dr. Purnell said they're making a good living doing that. Other than going to Yellowstone, what other stuff do you do research into, like other famous end of the earth scenarios?
You do research into other major volcanic eruptions. You do research into what the Yellowstone supervolcano did the last 3 times it went off, which is basically create Yellowstone.
Or the one that went off 74,000 years ago that almost extinguished the human race.
Indeed. If you want to imagine what this will be like, take Rhode Island. Send fire and smoke up around the edges for a day or so. Then drop it straight down half a mile onto red-hot rock.
Whoa.
Then look at all the pretty stuff that comes up from it. And remember, multiply what happened with the Iceland volcano by, I don't know, 1,000,
okay, but
something. Yeah, somewhere between 3 and 9 orders of magnitude.
So presumably it's not a disaster film / book. That becomes the catalyst for you messing stuff up afterwards. In other words, now sociology, society changes. What's your jump off from the disaster?
The way it was explained to me.
Can I have?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I asked a silly question.
Society changes, weather changes, politics change massively.
Aha! That was the question.
For one thing, most of the red states get wiped off the map. I mean, literally wiped off the map. For another thing, we are no longer the breadbasket of the world because we just got kicked in the breadbasket. For another thing, and the really ugly thing is that the Ayatollahs get to laugh at what happened to the great Satan.
We told you! Nobody listened! So I think with our limited time left, Eitan, you had a question you wanted to throw it towards Harry.
Actually, yeah. I love your new series, the one where World War II starts a year early.
Thank you.
I find that
the second one from that comes out next month. Woohoo!
See, that's what you're supposed to do. Second one comes out next month, and it's called
West and East.
There you go.
There you go. Thank you. Or the
question is, I noticed that the Poles are now hilariously on the side of the Germans. What does that do to the whole ultra thing?
It screws it to the wall.
Wait, explain for us ignorant to ultra.
Basically, right before the Poles got wiped out, unbeknownst, a lot of people don't know this, it was the Poles who cracked Ultra, which cracked the...
Well, actually, they got an Ultra machine off a German machine, a German sub that sank in shallow water.
They figured out how it worked. They actually were doing the initial
Explain
decoding.
to people who don't know what Ultra is.
The British were reading...
40 seconds left.
The British were reading the German military codes all through World War II, essentially from like 1940 on. They knew what the Germans were going to do before they did it.
Most of the time, not always.
Except for the Battle of the Bulge, when the Germans actually didn't use Ultra at all. So the British had this huge, massive advantage, even sacrificed the city to maintain it. And according to the scenario you just created, that don't happen. That don't happen, which means World War II gets a lot tougher for...
And speaking of not happening, time is not happening for us. So we're going to wrap up the spot interview with Harry Turtledove. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you, Dan. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom, nice meeting you.
Thank you.